Right. I see we're live.
We are live. Hello, everybody out there in YouTube land. Welcome to another Sleuth Intuition Live special panel edition. I reached out uh, to some very interesting fellows. They agreed to join me. We are having some issues with my camera. It sucks. So we're gonna go all audio. So you guys are you'll be okay with that. CD will be joining us shortly. Um, I think he said he had something important he was taking care of, and then he'll jump right in. What's up, Fig?
What's up, man? Yeah, it's my camera has the issues. Thanks for covering for me. But you're just so smooth, even with technical difficulties. It like stresses everyone out, but you're always just so smooth and calm. And I'm like, all right, I got to be smooth and calm then. If smooth and calm, so you mellow me out, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm still nervous, but I just kind of use that. That's always a good sign when you're nervous. Before anything, you just use it. It calms me down.
Yeah, that means you care, right? When you're nervous, it's because you care.
Yeah.
You want to do a good job.
Yep, exactly. It's important to you.
Yes, sir.
So I just wanted to kind of freestyle things, but for anybody that doesn't know you, Fig, like what's going on with your channel? Like, you kind of popped onto the scene, extremely professional, great content right out of the gate. People are flocking over there. Like, what's going on over there? What are your plans? Are you just here to kind of see what you can do, or are you still kind of like unsure about your future here with us on YouTube?
Well, I'm always here if you need anything, for sure, where I can help. But I was just following the case. I think there's a personal interest that kind of got me into true crime that I'll kind of reveal at some point when the timing's right. But I did some investigation for a certain case that I'm pretty close to, and it just, with my background of problem solving using the scientific method to solve problems, I got interested in seeing how I could help and use some of the things that I've learned in business school or working with law enforcement. Just like, if I could do anything to help, I want to try something. And this case just jumped out at me, and yeah, it is. I started watching you, how you would analyze things. I'm like, yeah, it would be cool to maybe see if I could help with anything, like offer any of my experience and run some ideas. But yeah, just making some videos to, I think, to help the case. So a few things, without trying to sound like I'm lecturing people or anything, but just for people to think about, because I do want to get tips in for this case. I really want to get it solved, and it's such a tough, emotional, draining case. Like the one video that I did that was kind of a tribute video, and it like emotionally drained me. I was tired after just working on it. It's like that piano sound and just doing it. But it's gotten a lot of good feedback, and I just wanted a way to concisely tell the story to people. So I felt like I didn't make it. Like, a lot of things are 30 minutes. I mean, the case is so complex. So that's what drove me. I want to share this case with people. So could I do it in 3 minutes or less? And could I do it with visuals? So things like that would kind of drive me.
Well, one thing is that law enforcement, to them it's a job. So it's not that they don't care, but it's kind of like these certain people, like it's almost like if, let's say law enforcement breaks this huge case, they're going to say, well, don't accept your paycheck, do it for free or something along those lines. So we got to remember, this is how they take care of their family. They come in and they try to work on these cases. Us, this is our way of giving back. These guys are hourly. They, certain cities, certain states, they just don't have the funding for overtime, or certain people aren't able to work as much as they want to, or when they're off the clock, they just want to go home and not think about the case. Um, so this is our chance of kind of doing like some type, even though we're not qualified, You know,
Right.
it doesn't mean that we can't provide an opinion or a perspective and just do like that pro bono type of stuff, and try to help a little
Mhm.
bit. Give some more eyes, an opinion, especially if you feel
Mhm.
capable. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Right, and have something to offer, and I believe you can learn from anyone. You can learn from a person at their first day of work, and they're new, and you've been
Mhm.
working there for a while. You
They
can
got
learn
those
from a kid.
eyes.
Yeah.
Yep. It's that perspective they have. They're just looking at it from that certain angle where it makes so much
Mhm.
sense. That's what it
Mhm.
takes. That's why it always takes a team, like we were talking about a little bit earlier. Um,
Mhm.
and just a million eyes need to be looking, and I think that's what's going on right now.
Mhm.
But the human mind is such a crazy thing. Somebody can be looking at something and not see it, which is really strange.
Mhm. Or see something completely different than someone else when you're looking at the same picture.
Yes.
It's pretty interesting, but yeah,
Yep.
definitely one of my friends, he's a chief of police, um, for sheriff county, and he just knows that I work a lot on problem solving methodology and like standardizing processes. So he kind of it's like, hey, help me with this case. Like, how do I get all my detectives standard using the same processes? And I want everyone to be my best detective. So that kind of got the conversation going where it's here's my best detective and he has his own process, but how could I copy and paste that process to all my other detectives? So we kind of worked on a few things. So that was interesting.
Yeah, and it's good to try to look at things from even odd angles.
Mhm,
Um,
mhm,
People who aren't trained in law enforcement but might be trained in problem solving, such as yourself. So, um, really anything. Like I remember one time I sat down with my wife, and she's a whiz with she's a whiz with numbers. I'm attracted to that kind of shit.
mhm, mhm,
Um, and I was like, "Hey, let me put this theory by you or run this information by you." And man, out came all this great information, stuff I didn't even think about. And I was like, "All right, thank you." And I just walked away.
yeah, from a different lens. Sometimes you get
Mhm.
things. So yeah, I try and provide that a different lens, like and see what comes up. And it's yeah, I like working with you, with anyone who said, "Hey, take a look at this and just see what you said." And I feel like me and you could not agree on something, but that's healthier because we both have the same goal of trying to get to the bottom of things and help with this case. So it's bad when people won't challenge you. Then you're not in a good
Well,
room.
yeah, exactly, because it's kind of like people like us, if we can go into the same room and we're working for the same goals, we're almost like a two-headed monster. You
Hmm.
know what I mean? We're the two heads that might be arguing on the same body of the same monster, the same goal. You know what I mean? Those heads could be bickering and looking and disagreeing in great fashion, but they're still, using the same legs to move forward.
Hmm. Yeah, totally. It's like let's not present something until we know it's bulletproof, and we have to do that behind the scenes with each other, testing out different things and be like, all right, now let's go present it to the world, right? Putting something on YouTube. But if someone always says like, oh no, everything you do is great, it's great, it's great, you're never going to get better. You need someone who trusts you enough and cares about you enough really to tell you like, hey, I think you should try it this way, and tell you the good you're doing too, as well as some of the bad things.
Yeah, definitely healthy criticism. Um, Tell me a little bit about what you got going on right now. I know you dropped a couple videos recently that
Mhm.
were really good. The information was spot on. You're reporting right on time. Um, what are you hoping to get done here in the next couple days, or what direction you going?
Hmm. So I do have something kind of big, and I didn't even tell you. Well, so I'll say I got on the Delphi murders with True Crime Garage. I was looking up a case, and I listened to a case on there, and then I started listening. I'm like, why is all this stuff Delphi? What is Delphi? I didn't know, and then they cover it a lot. So I started listening to some of their shows, and they had a gentleman on there, Skip, and it
Yeah.
was in his perspective. So I've been talking to Skip lately, and we're going to do a show probably on Friday. I'm going to interview him. I sent him some questions. So I just because I've heard some people say how how it is treating a person of interest, and if the group that he was in was doing maybe too much, or like I want to hear his side of it because I think he's an honest, decent guy, and I want to get his thoughts. And he told me I don't know how much to say, but he said he's going to reveal 2 emails that he got after being on that show, and it's going to be the first time anyone's ever going to receive this information. So I'm pretty excited about what they are. I'm like, don't tell me. I want to wait because I want to know live. So he has some information that he said he will share for the first time in our interview.
In regards to what? Because I know Skip.
Yeah, the Delphi case and regards to a person of interest that he has. That's all I have about it.
Well, I can't wait.
Yeah, and so it's interesting though because I am new, and before I was asking you getting your advice on certain things, and I don't know how long I'll be covering this because there's a few other things that I want to transition to, but while I'm here, I want to do a good job, and definitely I'll shoot you an email and get your advice, and you'll give me the answer. So I do appreciate that because stuff's hard. It's complicated. You get a whole new respect when you actually try it yourself. You're like, man, it's
Well, it's time. It's just time,
Mhm.
really. It's time. It's learning. It's making mistakes. I've gone through all that. So if you can save yourself, and if anybody can help you from going down that path, yeah, they should help you.
Yeah, I appreciate it. So we'll see what he has to say, and I'm interested in that because working with law enforcement, and as you know, it's like when you look at a case, it's a boyfriend, an ex-boyfriend, especially in a violent crime, it's family, and it's
Well,
people
that
who were there.
reminds me. I just watched that movie. It's the new Scream movie,
Oh, nice. How is it?
and it's really good. And they were sitting with. Are you familiar with the characters?
From the old school one.
Yeah, they kind of
Yeah.
they're kind of redoing the old school one with all the
Oh.
same characters. So
uh,
all these new characters are sitting there and they're like, okay, and they came back to see Dewey, the law enforcement guy,
mhm.
and they're like, okay, tell us what's happening because apparently these killers are killing according to that code, the scary movie code that you know so well. And
Mhm.
he tells her, um, well, first off, you need to. It's probably your boyfriend. And he's sitting right next to her.
It's
So that kinda
well,
reminded me of what you were saying, it's like you gotta look, unfortunately, like, that's just the way it is.
and especially with this case, because we know so little, it's almost like you have to rely on statistics. So, right. So I just caught the FBI thing. And why I caught that FBI thing with them taking the weight from 180 to 220 down to 180 to 200. So they changed the range. And why I was
And
even
then
on.
now it's gone. Now it's gone
Yeah, now
completely.
it's gone. So how I even caught that is whenever I work on something, I go to the source. I go get statistics, and I want to get your opinion on this. Right now, it's so I try to go to the source, excuse me, what law enforcement says. The problem with that is, man, it's so right. I could build a case one way, take certain clips of Doug Carter and Toby, and I could prove one thing about the sketches, and then I could, if I wanted to, I could take other things that they say and only show those things. Right? You could like manipulate the data because it's so convoluted and back and forth. So it's almost hard now to have a good source using law enforcement as a source. So I'm trying to use their like my rule is to use their most recent information,
Mhm.
but it's like some of the things they said earlier, they're more revealing. So it's tough, man. What are your
Yeah,
thoughts on that?
that's why in my last actual video, when I made my points or I spoke about facts, I made sure
Hmm.
to include an actual video that proved those facts. And a fact's never really like a fact. A fact is a fact is something that law enforcement and science believes to be true.
Hmm.
You know? So if you have the top officer like Holman saying on video, like, "Hey, I believe I had several sketches, several is 3 or 4.
Hmm.
Um, they take those 4 and then they make their 1 from all of them."
Hmm.
Um, so if he flat out says hey, I believe part of the sketch belongs to Mike Patty and some of the other searchers.
Mhm.
To me, that's a fact.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
If they
And
say that it belongs to them, then yeah, that seems like a truth.
so and not only that, but the man in charge of it all is telling you that that's what happened.
Hmm.
Um, and then you have Kelsey, who says out of her mouth, now this may not be fact, this may be further from fact, but to me, it's factual based on what she's telling us. So if she says, hey, um, the younger looking sketch is based off of new technology, we have to take that as fact. Well, I take it as fact. You guys can do whatever you want. But me
Hmm.
personally, I take that as a fact until you can show me something otherwise.
Hmm.
Um, some people have stated, oh, well, we all know that they had that first sketch on the 17th. To me, in my mind, I look at it differently. I think if that sketch is a representation of DNA, to me, all that says is that they had the DNA around the 17th.
Hmm. Yeah, so I wanted to bring this up with you too. I re-listened to the HLN special, and just
Hmm.
like the hair follicle part just kept jumping out at me, like the hair follicle. So I'm like, oh, to what Sleuth made, I'm thinking now the DNA that they used was hair. And because they took Anthony, or what's his, not Anthony Shots, but Keegan Klein's, they took his hair. And
Hmm.
so I looked up how the FBI uses hair, and they use it for comparison at this point. Because if they wanted his DNA, they would have just swabbed his mouth. So there must have been hair found on the crime scene, and I'm hoping it's from like Liberty or someone just grabbing his hair, like, and her having some hair, just something like that. But the only reason to, or you could try and get DNA from hair, which you can do. It's easier when there's a follicle present, the root. But if not, there is new technology, like you use the word technology, where you can now
Hmm.
get some DNA from hair without it even having the follicle attached. So I'm like, I wonder if that's the DNA.
Well, she says something else. I can't remember what else she says. She says, not just new technology. Like she's saying that new information, and
Mm.
she's talking like it's a whole bunch of information. And to me, that's DNA. So wherever it came
Mhm.
from, um, and I'll bet everything on that. But that's what she's
Mhm.
talking about.
Mhm. It's just interesting because it does tell us a little bit more about the crime scene. The fact that Keegan Klein said they took his hair sample. I'm like, okay, so we're learning a little bit about the
Hmm.
crime scene. There must have been some hair, and then if the whole dog's like bringing in his dad or like taking away his dog, I'm like, they're probably just trying to rule it out that it wasn't his dog. So it makes more sense now,
And they could have multiple pieces of evidence. They could have
for
human
sure.
hair. They can have animal hair.
But, mhm,
Um, I'm sure there's a lot we don't know.
for sure. So that hair follicle, hopefully, they're able to get a DNA match where they could find out who it is, instead of just comparison. But I think some of the right when Doug Carter said that we think we're on to something early on, it's kind of the next video I'm going to make, and it's like it. I think they ruled out Keegan Klein. I think they cleared him with DNA. I think they have hair. They
Well,
took his hair.
there was other things going on other than those search warrants. Um, they served a basically law enforcement showed up at the Packers plant. They said we're here because if there was a bomb threat, but they left with boots and certain other items in evidence bags.
The boots at that, was it the what company was that where they took the boots?
Packers, it was
Yep, yep,
Packers.
yeah. So yeah, wonder
That
what they
was
were
early.
on to.
That was early on as well.
That's true. And then there's the right the warrant they served, the bicycle
Hmm.
road.
Maxwell.
Yeah. So yeah, it could have been a few things what they thought they were on, but I think Anthony Shots, Mr. Keegan Klein, he's been cleared.
Yeah,
Uh,
and I think that that's what they're trying to indicate with these changes. They're like, "Hey, look, we're going this way to a skinnier type of person, or away from what would make you think about Keegan. We're gonna go away from that.
Hmm. Yeah, because if they found hair on the crime scene, which it sounds like they did, that's why they took a hair sample from him. Then they compared it and it didn't match. Now, I'm also wondering if the hair that they found was like wavy hair, kind of curly hair. That's why the
Hmm.
sketch has curly hair in the sketch because the dude was wearing a hat. So how
Or
would
the
they know unless they
DNA,
had that? Or
or
the
the
DNA?
DNA told them, hey, like your person is going to have curly hair. He's going to have certain
Hmm.
type of facial features. He's going to have this kind of jaw. He's going to have these
Hmm.
kind of ears. And this is in like a 90 percentile or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think what builds to that is how Carter was just saying how little of importance the BG video is. And my jaw kind of dropped at that. It's like, there's little weight behind the actual
No,
video.
he doesn't say that it doesn't have any weight. He just wants people to stop focusing on the face. He, if he, if he could erase that face off of there, that's what he would have done,
Hmm. Hmm.
because he believes that it's too grainy, and it really is.
It is.
If you don't study it like it's your thesis, you're not going to know anything about it. You have to really spend time and devote strange amount of time to really understand what's going on with that image. He's
Hmm.
100% right, but it's really learning about the graininess and the pixelation and how that separates. It's on some weird. I don't even want to go into it.
Hmm.
It's on some geek status stuff, really. But yeah, he's right. It's extremely pixelated. Don't look at it. What he wants you to look at is the way the man is walking. Yes, he's stepping over railroad ties, but you would understand that that's your father, that's your brother, that's your uncle, that's your neighbor. That's how he would be walking if he was, crossing the railroad ties the same way.
Hmm. Yeah, and it's tough. So you sent me something earlier. I don't know if you want to talk about that yet. Kind of the
What?
response that you received from JP.
Which response?
I saw you posted it.
Oh, the one today, with
Yeah.
him taking his polygraph test. Is that the
Yes.
one you're referring to? Yeah.
Yes.
Um, yep. I got word that he took the test. He did not take it when he was scheduled to. And now I'm starting to understand that that could have been because he could have had some type of substance uh, in his body at the
Mhm.
time. They probably asked him like, "Hey, have you done this, done that? Have you taken any medication, any drugs?" And he's a very honest person, So he was probably like, "Yeah, I did this or I did that." And they're like, "Oh, well, we can't do a test until you're clean. You got to be clean for 24 hours."
Mhm.
And he actually posted that on his Facebook page that he failed the test and he had to he had to be clean for 24 hours before he took the test. But it's also my understanding that he may be rescheduled to take it again.
Oh, after he's clean for a little while.
I'm not sure. I think it's just standard. I don't know that for a fact. That's just what I was told.
Interesting. 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 So, like, what's next for Sleuth? what's I mean, it's like you did such a great job. Got a tip in there for something that should have been tipped in, and now what are you thinking?
Right now, man, it's just ducking and dodging certain types of personalities. It's not falling for the okey doke,
Hmm.
standing on my own too, first and foremost. But yeah, I'm just kind of going with things. Like I had a great interview with Dead Academy, Fallon.
Hmm. Hmm.
That was incredible. I had a lot. Like it seems to be, I seem to be having more fun the better I get at things. So I'm just enjoying myself, and the more I feel like I'm kind of getting a hang of this whole sleuthing
Hmm.
and not shitting on families and victim shaming and doing all that kind of stuff. Like sometimes you don't know you're doing it. You think you're like, you know, but sometimes you're not aware of it. So I'm just getting better. It takes time.
Hmm.
Um, but really, it's day by day. Like there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes with strange people that have been reaching out to me, acting like they're bridge guy and stuff like that. So I'm still trying to deal with that and um, try to trust my instincts, really.
Yeah, it's crazy. I read a report because why do people give false confessions? And I'm not talking about people who are getting interrogated, but why do people feel the need to call up and say I did it?
Orchestrated.
Yeah,
Yeah, they orchestrate a false confession.
right. And it's bottom line. The easy explanation is that yeah, it is for attention. But it's like, what else is going wrong with him to feel the need to go get that attention? Because so many people do it. It's crazy.
Well,
You
yeah,
have
there's
to
been
wonder.
some people. But what's funny is usually when people like that come about, the real killers pop up.
Mm-hmm.
So it's funny that this was all going on with JP, and my strange friend kind of came around, and he seems to remind me of the smiley face killer. I don't know if you know anything about that guy.
Yeah, a little bit.
Well, it's a case of this guy who went around and did a bunch of horrible things, right?
Hmm.
And somebody tried to take credit for it. It was a false confession, and he was able to convince law enforcement with information provided in the newspaper and things that he saw in the media. Like he was really good at collecting all the information that not your average person would, and confess to the crime. Well, the smiley face killer wasn't having any of that, and he started putting his signatures in, I believe, rest area bathrooms, where it was like, I killed such and such, and this is what really happened, and I plan to do this, and I'll kill such and such at this, just weird signatures and information like that. And they knew that they had a false confession, not to release that information. You release the information, anybody can come along and use it, to try to maybe put themselves into the jail, back into the jail system, get notoriety, maybe some type of fame. Loneliness can make you do a lot of weird things.
Hmm.
That's what
Hmm.
I can chop it up to.
Yeah. When you're lonely, you need attention from someone, and
Hmm.
if you're not getting it from your group of your peers or your family, then yeah, you look elsewhere, and it gets more and more drastic. So yeah, I saw what you're talking about. Some of those messages. I'm like, dude, what is this guy telling you right now?
No, man, he's in my DMs on Facebook now,
Oh,
and it's getting really dark. And he's a really serious dude. So, and I'm primed to be trolled. Don't get me wrong, but
mhm.
like Captain told me, he said, you lose nothing if you're wrong, if he's a troll, but you gain everything if he's something serious. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Hmm. And I gotta trust my instincts. I don't believe in psychics, but I do believe in the subconscious warnings and things that
Mhm.
your brain picks up. And if you don't learn to listen to your brain kind of throwing out those little tiny red flags everywhere,
Mhm.
to me, that's what intuition is. It's just some type of over analytical type of mind, I guess. I'm not sure.
Yeah, sometimes there's a gut feeling that's hard to explain, but that's what it is. You just get a feeling.
And
Oh.
then spiritual help, I believe in that. I don't know.
Mhm.
Little nudge maybe here and there, from.
Yeah, for sure. Why not?
Oh, is that CD? What's up, CD? Are you joining us? What's going on here?
Kids off from
Sorry,
school.
sleuthing everyone. I am coming on in a few. Kids off from school this week. Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so CD, what's his background a little bit? I'm excited to
Oh,
talk to
he's
him, meet
legit.
him. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
he's super legit. He has some interesting stories of some really gruesome true crime stories. Dude, pick his brain. I love to hear the information that he provides, but really he's going to give us the perspective. So
Mm-hmm.
if there's something information like in regards to warrants,
Mm.
affidavits, what you can expect with a polygraph, things like
Oh.
that. Not to mention his own intelligence, that
Mm-hmm.
matches
Mm-hmm.
us in his own personal way. So he has a little extra.
Yeah, I can't wait till he gets on. He's doing his thing, but yeah, ask him about, because I heard about polygraphs. The most important thing about polygraphs, and hopefully he'll speak to this, is it's the questions asked before. It's not even so much the polygraph, but it's like the questions, and it's the dialogue that you have with the person about to polygraph before the polygraph happens, where you gain a lot of information. So I'm like, so I want to get his thoughts on that.
Yeah, he gave me a lot of information earlier. We didn't have time to like do a deep dive into it, but I think it was his response of everybody kind of chiming in on my. I posted it on my Facebook group, and then I posted it on my YouTube channel. Something that Julian had said in regards to him failing the test or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And he, after I seen a couple comments, he sent me a email actually, and he's like, "No, inconclusive just means this," and he just totally put it right into perspective. Like, there's no ill will, there's no he failed or he got it right. It just means that the relationship that he had between whoever was conducting the test was unable to really figure out what was going on with them.
Mm.
No, there was nothing other than that.
Right.
Nothing. It points to nothing.
Mm. Oh, that's good to know. Yeah, so it's interesting. Oh, I'm reading the chat now. Woohoo, I'm looking at the chat.
Oh, you can see it?
Yes, yeah.
All
Well,
right.
I went on it's probably delayed, but I went on the YouTube at the same time.
Yeah, tell me anything you want me to throw up there, man. Let's kill some time because I know CD's ready to get to dive right in, dude. I guarantee it's killing him right now.
I'm just reading through it. I have some questions, but I was gonna bring up how, yep, hi, how tough it is, right? So you have on one hand, it's usually a boyfriend, ex-boyfriend in a violent crime, and the family. But also you have so much respect for the family, and you feel for the family. I feel for the family. It's like, man, it's like a lose-lose situation where you're looking at statistics, you're trying to analyze things objectively, but also have a heart and do
Well,
something
this is the way I
subjectively.
look at it. I think you should worry about the family, but I like to worry about the victims just a lot
Hmm.
more.
Hmm.
It goes victims, the family of the victims, friends and people close to the victims, and everybody else doesn't really matter, in my opinion. But the people that really matter to me the most are the victims because I can put myself in that situation.
Hmm.
You're you're helpless, right? I want everybody to join me in this. You're there, you're completely and utterly helpless. Your life is just disappearing right in front of you. Family members are not going through that. The victims went through that, and that's what haunts us.
Hmm.
You know, the victims, to me, it's like if somebody dropped a nuclear bomb and then you have that weird nuclear fallout that comes out and it kind of spreads for years and years and taints the water and it just continues to create casualties. They're part of it all. They're still all victims.
Hmm. Yeah, it's a chain reaction, and
But
then it's
that helplessness, man, I just that's got, I don't talk about that often, but that's what draws it. Nobody should ever have to experience that. And the people that who perpetrate that onto others, dude, I
Mhm.
just feel like I have to fight against that. And it's a spirit. It's a spiritual battle.
Mhm. Yeah, and there's a right way to go about things and a wrong way, and it's just law enforcement has so much more information than us, but it's sometimes in small towns, and I'm speaking from me working with law enforcement, and I get told this, where you develop relationships, and it's hard not to be. It's not even like they're covering for someone, but it's just hard. You're like, no, no, I know this person. There's no way they do that. I'm not even going to, right? Things like that happen. Some nepotism, but a lot of it
Hmm.
is just like, no, I don't even need to interview this person. Like I've known them. My parents have known them, and it's not like they're doing it on purpose, but they just truly believe it, but they're not going through the process of vetting them.
Discernment is the
Hmm.
most important thing that I found, and I'm not sure if it's just a figment of my imagination, but I mean, like I've put it to the test. Like people come to me my whole life, even as a young person, like, hey, such and such has happened. We need your help. And it's like, why are they asking for my help? And then sure enough, like whatever perspective I had came handy. Like, I remember I was at work and my sister showed up. She's like, we need you. We need you. I was like, what happened? Such and such, my nephew had run away.
Mm.
And once he ran away, I just started gathering information from her. I said, well, what information do you have? She said, I don't know. I said, no, real information. I said, what information do you have? What did law enforcement provide to you? And she said, they pinged his phone. I said, perfect. That's what I'm looking for.
Hmm.
Where did they ping it? And she said, it was between here, such and such area. I said, okay, I get off in 2 hours. I'm going directly there. I'm going to spend the rest of the night circling that area. That's exactly what I did. Circled it for about 3 hours. And then something, I swear, I put this on everything. As I'm leaving, I said a prayer and I said, tell me what I need to do. McDonald's popped in my head. Said, okay, I'll pass the McDonald's when I go back out. As I'm at the stop sign, guess who I see inside the McDonald's? My
Your nephew.
nephew.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And it doesn't end there. He's with a group of people. So I have to, and they're leaving as I see him. So I have to zip around. I park at the bank across the street. And as they're all loading into this huge SUV, a bunch of little knuckleheads,
Hmm.
and I run up on the driver's side and scare the shit out of the driver, dude. Dude, he was like, "What the fuck?" And I was like, "Hey," I go, "Hey, stop right now." I go, "You see that guy back there? That's my nephew. You know, his mother's looking for him. He's a runaway." Oh well, we're gonna take him over there in the back seat's his uncle. I said, "No, you're gonna park right now across the street, and she's gonna come to him." So they're like, "All right, man, all right." And they park, and I kind of kick back in the distance, and then they wouldn't give him to my sister. So
Whoa.
crazy sleuth is out, dude. And dude, I'm a
Mm.
gun toter. I'll whip that shit out. So I'm kind of crazy, dude, to be honest. Like if you start pushing my sister and you're like trying to like,
Mhm.
you're basically kidnapping my nephew who's only like, I think 13 at the time. Like, but let's just say they let him go. And I was able to leave just in time before right as law enforcement was entering the scene, I was already leaving and waving at them like, "Hey, officer."
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah,
Crazy
crazy
story.
story, man. That's when I
That's
knew that like
crazy.
the intuition, and it's not really intuition, it's just like some type of help from like God, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, for sure.
Like a nudge, a little nudge.
Yeah, it comes from somewhere. It comes from some energy. I believe that. Nice. Crime Vixen carries a 9 millimeter. Mm-hmm. Got one of those.
Let's see. Crime Vixen, nice. Yeah, a nice Ruger would fit right in like a purse or in like your tucked away in some what are the
Mm-hmm.
yoga pants or something.
Sure. Yeah, I'm just checking through chat now. It's cool. Everyone's being nice to each other. That's awesome.
Oh, here, I'm sorry. Here's CD.
Oh, all
Hey
right.
man, sorry.
No, it's all good. All
Oh,
good.
hey, how's everything?
Got everybody to sleep. Everything's good.
Hey CD, I want to introduce you to Fig Mutant Solves.
Fig, how are you, man?
I'm doing well. It's nice to meet you. I've
I've
listened to
been
you on the
listening
show.
the last about 15 minutes. I've been listening, so I heard you guys.
Oh, okay.
You just
to
had
meet
you
you,
just
man.
had you just had
Nice
to
to meet
point
you.
that out, huh? Didn't you?
I had to listen to what's going on. I was itch. I heard you. I was itching to come on. I was waiting, and my little guy wouldn't go to sleep.
You got a problem with my monologue?
No, it's good. No, I didn't hear the beginning. I heard probably the last 15 minutes.
That was just stories of my intuitiveness.
I like it.
So, what's on your mind, CD?
What is on my mind? Well, I heard about the hair follicle and the new test that came out. It's with the root. If you don't have a root with the hair, you're able to test now and get a DNA DNA profile.
Really?
That I think it's been the last 18 months that they figured they came out with that.
So
But
tell us a little bit.
what do you want to talk about the polygraph? What did you want to talk about?
Yes. Polygraph, please. Give us a little bit of an insight about what was going on behind the scenes. I kind of put it together that if he was scheduled on Monday and he didn't take it later on in the week, it wasn't because he bailed on it. I kept telling everybody he bailed on his original, but the truth is he may have told them, hey, I have something in my system. Is that true?
Yeah, he could have. He absolutely could have. He could have, because it depends what he's taking. And I know he said he takes Adderall. So something like Adderall that speeds you up could give a lot of false positives on a test like that.
Okay.
So maybe he tried to wean off that to take the polygraph,
Well,
which is a possibility.
Can you help correct kind of, people have their own priorities.
Mhm.
So when you hear like a test was inconclusive, oh, then he was guilty, he's guilty. That's not the case, right?
No, it's basically inconclusive on the polygraph. But as I heard Fig is actually right. They will have an interview prior. And depending on how he's acting in the interview of getting getting basic stuff from him, and then they're, seeing a little bit more of what he would know on Delphi.
Well, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
During that prior interview, is he hooked to the machine? And
No.
that's why they're asking him?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, he's not hooked to the machine. You're just going to get baseline stuff from him. And listen, you're somebody who does polygraphs. This is all they do, So they're going to find tells on his body behavior, and they're going to change questions to base off of how he's reacting to the questions. Also,
That's interesting.
He said he failed.
Well, he's saying he's failed because they said it's inconclusive, but it doesn't mean
let
that
me read.
he's...
Let me read to you what he said. There.
Yeah.
I have a screenshot. Hold on. Sorry, I'm trying to spit out this tobacco. Got some stuck in my teeth. All right, hold on.
The question is he? Did they tell him that he was being deceptive on a certain question?
Well,
and then
that's why I want.
You're going to take that as failure. Yeah.
No, that's why I want to read this to you. The way he explains it. Okay. So, let me put it on screen. Let's see. Share screen. All right. Can you guys see that?
Yep.
Okay, so he says, and this was today. This was about 2 hours ago. He said 1 year without weed to be a cop. I don't know if that's true in Indiana, but only 24 hours to be clean enough to take a polygraph. So that's when it clicked. I was like, oh, okay, you didn't ditch it. They needed you to be clean to take the polygraph. This world makes zero sense to me. He said, I failed my polygraph, by the way. Not sure if that means the device failed to detect deceit and I passed, or if it detected deceit and I failed. Do you see that each way you look at it, there was deceit in his answer? He didn't say that they didn't pick up anything.
Everything I see that. I see that. Device failed to detect deceit and I passed, or if it detected deceit and I failed. So they basically didn't answer him though. They just basically told him that it was inconclusive. And that's how they left it. They didn't get they left him walking out of there saying, "Did I pay?" He's going through his own stuff because they didn't tell him.
No, but there's a lot that he doesn't know, and I can't say on air.
No, I get it. I understand. I actually understand. I could say that I understand now. I get it.
So what do you make of all of this? What do you think? I mean, after a polygraph, I'm sure this kind of stuff happens all the time, and it either leads to clearing somebody eventually or helps, or does them even polygraphing him kind of lead to an idea of what law enforcement's thinking? Do they suspect him? Are they trying to clear him because they have to?
Well, I'll tell you this. I'll put it this way. I put it very simple. With his response right there, they didn't tell him for a reason.
Yikes!
You get what I'm getting at?
That scares me, dude.
It's the way he's writing that is they just basically said, he probably, how did I do? And they probably just said, it's inconclusive, and they didn't answer anything else about it.
So that's just the way that they answered him.
That's not the way they usually answer you. They'll tell you if they detected deceit or not. They didn't tell him that.
Wow.
Which is it's pretty interesting. And then him talking about now that he wants everybody to stop contacting them, that he's not a suspect. I don't know. This guy's just he's just a book that another chapter keeps turning. It's just bizarre because they would. I mean, it could take an hour prior to doing the polygraph, depending how deep they're getting and the answers he's giving. They have to understand the polygraph. You can't use it in court.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, like, what is it that law enforcement's trying to get with this polygraph? Just whether or not they're going to pay more attention.
It's gonna put law enforcement over the top. Is there going to be another interview coming?
That's what I feel like. It's a tool for an interview. It's like, bro.
Yeah, no, it is. It is. But it's not if something else could come of it, it would turn into a full-on interrogation where it would get deep.
Okay.
Because when you're doing a polygraph, you want that person to feel somewhat comfortable. You don't want them to feel very stressed because you're not going to get anything out of it. If they're sweating bullets before they put that machine on, it's nothing's going to come from it.
What do you think, Fig?
No, it's interesting. I'm just all ears listening.
Somebody said it's invalid, but it's not invalid. It's not invalid. They just told them it was inconclusive.
Yeah, what I'm interested, what's the next card they're going to play? I think that'll be telling. What is he going to come in again? I'm assuming, or what happens next?
Well, they're going to talk to. I mean, I don't see. This is if Carroll County did it. Carroll County has 13 officers. Nobody there is a polygrapher, so they're going to bring in somebody who's a professional.
No, it was state police.
It could be state police could have somebody, but they're gonna basically talk and say, is it
third
worth
party
doing it again? Because the guy or female whoever's doing that test is going to know if it's worth it to do it again. Because you have murderers that they have no emotion, and they could just go through the test, and you're not going to get anything from them.
Somebody was reminding me, what was the lady's name who she killed her 2 sons? She sent them into the water, and she came out and did a polygraph. It was inconclusive. Then she did this whole media tour where she was, and then she blamed it on a black guy. Remember that?
Yeah. I remember the case. I do remember the case. That was years ago.
Her polygraph was inconclusive.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of them do come up inconclusive. I mean, polygraphs are now used in the hiring process for police officers, and it's kind of a problem when it comes up inconclusive because they're like, listen, the guy didn't show deceit, but he didn't pass. It's just a nothing in a sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, someone put in the chat, pathological liars will pass, or it's someone if you believe your own lie, or you have no empathy and you just don't care and you're emotionless, basically. I'm sure
a narcissist or a psychopath can be inconclusive, depending how deep they are.
Well, honestly, and this is full disclosure, I think I could pass a lie detector test. Don't you?
Well, I mean, if you know basic interrogation practices, it'll help you. you know. But this guy is he's just he's interesting, man. He really is. He's very interesting.
Like, I think if you took me in there to a polygraph and asked me stuff that you knew was actually true, like my name, where I'm from.
Well, that's the baseline. Those are the baseline questions.
Yeah, I think that I could say no to those and it would be inconclusive.
I don't know. That's pretty hard, you know, because you got to remember something. It's just your body. You know,
yes, it's your heart. It's your heart rate.
It's your respiratory system. It's your heart rate. Mm-hmm. You know, it's hard. You know,
I think I think I would spaz from the beginning.
Yeah, it's tough. I don't know. They're pretty intense. You know,
if I'm spazzed from the beginning, like maybe I have something like attacking my foot.
Couple Red Bull attacking your foot. Yeah, that's the old. Yeah. I don't think that works on the newer systems, but that did work in like the 90s or in the 2000s too. It did. You know, if you're bringing pain. Yeah, of course. If you're bringing pain to yourself, there's no emotion except for that pain coming from your foot.
Also, I was watching a movie and the guy, when they would ask him a question, he would ask himself a different question. He had two questions. He would identify whether or not the question that they were asking him was true or false. And then if one was true, he would ask himself a different question in his mind and answer it truthfully.
That's a lot going on to be in the middle of a polygraph.
That's what I'm saying.
There are people.
Inconclusive is all you need.
That's all you need is inconclusive, because then at the end of the day, it's kind of like, the person puts their hands up. You know, it could go either way. Like Garrett Kurtz, remember Garrett Kurtz? He had one and he failed. He showed the seat on one of the questions.
The worst question.
Yeah.
The Delphi question.
Was it definitely the Delphi question, or was it about what did you feel like murdering? Do you ever feel like murdering somebody?
No, he says specifically it was the Delphi question. If he
I believe he failed the whole thing, to be honest with you. You know, but that's what he said.
I would like to know.
That's another interesting guy from that area. Ryan said, "I hate to say this, JP is just a guy with mental issues. He's not BG."
Oh, I saw that.
Ryan, I hear you, but you know, there's the what if with him. You know, there's the what if factor.
That's the most likely scenario.
It is, and I you know, it's also the way when you interviewed him, he just had things that were there that I'm like, I don't know, you know. Is he listening to, you know, the lives, you know, because he threw things in there that like it could, like, in a sense, like he wants to bait you a little bit. You know what I mean?
Wait, look, Sweets. Tell me more about what you're talking about, Sweets. She said, sleuth, that's how my ex passed. I'm telling you, that's how you do it. As long as you have some type of elevation and you can maintain that elevation through the whole test, it'll be inconclusive every time. Because all they're doing is measuring your heart rate and your pulse and your breathing and stuff like that.
If you think about it, it's your respiratory system and your nervous system. Because your nervous system is going to give that response like, oh my God, the rest of this question, what am I going to say? You know what I mean? And you're going to jolt, in a sense, internally.
I think JP could pass that even. You know, I think he could cause an inconclusive test if he wanted to. I just don't think that his shenanigans and him messing with like me and messing with Fallon and messing with Twitter and all that stuff, I just don't think he thought it was that serious.
I don't think he did either. I think just talking to somebody on YouTube, you know, he could have been for his own entertainment, you know, not thinking like, oh, could this go somewhere? You know?
See, look at that. Do you see what Sweet said?
He thought up a question of his own and answered truthfully instead. Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah. So you just deflect the question. You just identify true or false. Oh, that's true. Boom. Do I love Christmas? Answer is yes.
That's awesome.
CD, I have a question for you, if you don't mind, sir.
Throw it.
So, back to the hair follicles, would they take hair for any other reason than if they had some hair from the crime scene? Like, so why would they take Keegan Klein's hair? Is it most likely to match it up to something that they have?
I think it could be for a DNA profile. It could be they found hair at the scene without a root. So by taking his with the root, then you can compare the two, and you have more. You basically, it's getting to the scientific level where having the hair without a root, like say, a hair just fell out and it was without the root, and then you have his sample with the root. You got a stronger sample from him, where they can't combat that. If that ever went to court, they're going to say this is a stronger sample towards what we found, not the other way around where it's not strong enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then it's to what you were saying. If they did find hair, well, there's ways to DNA test it. So it's like, yeah, have they done that? That's when are they going to do that?
I also found that I heard you talking about the dog too. I found it interesting that they removed the dog from the house, because then it took me to, okay, if they wanted a sample of hair from the dog, they would have shaved the dog at the house.
Yeah, they could have just grabbed it right from the dog.
Did they want foot molds? You know what I mean? There's something in depth with the dog.
Yeah, that's so strange. Unless, it was starving or something, malnutrition, but I don't know.
That dog, that dog was it's a pretty big dog. It's a pit bull. It's a pretty big dog. So it didn't look like it was being malnourished. It looked like they wanted to do some tests.
See it. That's interesting.
It's before a big boy.
Before we get too far into the DNA and the forensics, Tobe Lesenby stated, he was asked, do you have DNA? He said, yes. Is it the killer's DNA? He says, we don't know.
We don't know. Yeah. Those words, they stand out.
We don't know. So yes, they have DNA, but if they don't know it's the killer's, does the DNA really matter?
Right. And if it's mixed DNA, so if the victims had more of their DNA in one area, and then, the victims had more, and then the perpetrator had just a little bit, but it was mixed together, then they could have it, but they don't have enough to do a profile. They can't get all the information out of it. So it's like contaminated almost.
Yeah. I mean, that brings into question the what's it called? The searchers, their DNA in the area and whatnot, and that, flooded the scene. It's tough. It really is. It's a tough one.
I want to address Todd's question. He said, Sleuth Intuition, please see YouTube channel WAPTech1 for today's video on JP photos. You know what? I've seen that video. I watched it when he first dropped it. He actually talked about me a little bit, but you can tell he really didn't watch my videos because he didn't know that Julian talked about actually being at the trails. He didn't know that. So he thought he didn't even think he was the same Julian that took the Google photos. So, but a little shout out to WAPTech1, because when this was originally breaking back in late,
he's a pretty big techie, right?
I'm not sure, but in late 2019, early 2020, when we were all talking about this on 4chan and stuff like that and Reddit, he was right there. So he knows about that stuff, but obviously he didn't listen to the interviews where Julian was talking about actually being at the trails, and because he doesn't even believe he's the same Julian that took the Google photos. So he's way behind.
I didn't see the video. I know the name. I know the screen name or whatnot. I know he's like a very big techie. Like,
yeah,
I don't think not political, criminal stuff.
No, he does everything, man. He does everything.
Yeah, but I think he knows like that, the embedded stuff in photos and that kind of stuff. I don't think he's any kind of, I don't know if he's even looking at it in a criminal sense or he's just looking at the pictures.
Yeah, he was.
He was.
He was doing it the same way I would have. He went to Bridge Hunter. He went to different satellite websites. So yeah, he did it the right way. He knew what he was doing. But you got to remember, like I said, he was somebody that did this when Julian's videos were still available. So shout out to WAPTech, but right now he's a little behind on what's going on.
That's cool. I like the shout outs. I like them. So Stig, you're not leaving YouTube all of a sudden that you just got here, right? or what's that? What was that all about? I was scratching my head saying, "Is this guy leaving? Did he just get here? Where's he going?"
So I had a short-term plan before I came out with anything. I just said, "Here, I'm gonna give it a few months, do what I can in these few months, and see what I could do. So yeah, it's nothing like anything happened. It was just part of the plan. Like I'll dedicate a few months to this and see what happens. And like honestly, just being on, I mean, doing a few guest spots, like it's blowing up more than I thought. Like Sleuth had me on. He's like, we're gonna get Fig to 500 subscribers. I laughed because it was like 150. I'm like, yeah, I did. I like laughed in his face almost. So I'm like, dude, stop it. Like I'm cool with whatever. Like whatever's good. And now it's like 600 and something. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, we'll see. But it's definitely just getting help from people. And
so in all reality, you're not really going anywhere. But it's a possibility, but I don't think I think you're going to be here for a while.
As long as I feel like I'm adding value to the case, if I feel like I have nothing else to really add value with, then yeah, I might transition to other things. So yeah, I solve different problems. Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. I get it.
But if I could help, I'll hang around for sure.
So, Sleuth, let me ask you a question. Should we put this credential thing to bed? Because I know it really twisted a lot of people, but it didn't offend me.
Yeah, if anybody would understand, it would be you. They don't understand because they're not on the level, bro. It's all good.
That's why I said I fired that thing off to you within 2 minutes. I said, dude, I no issue.
No, that's actually the second time I requested it.
Yeah. But it was kind of strange at how people really went a little crazy about it.
Well, they got offended by it, like, how dare you not trust?
Yeah, people. I saw somebody say in the chat, he needs to leave right now. I'm like, what?
What?
I'm like,
it's like I'm not going to be anybody's fool. I'm going to tell you that right now. I might be somebody's fool, but it's going to take a lot.
Somebody come on and say, hey, I'm a prosecutor. Let me tell you how a case is going to go. And you're talking to them and you're like, oh yeah, and then all of a sudden you're like, okay, I see something that, and they give you nothing. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I had no issue with it. It is what it is. It's fine.
Well,
move on.
And it wasn't only for that reason. The most important thing was, if I like to kind of talk about you, and I like to talk about you as a reference, and I want to refer to you as an expert on certain things, and I can't do that unless I really know.
No, I totally get it. I'm actually the Delphi docs law enforcement expert. They asked me to do it. I did that about 3-4 weeks ago, so I'm on there too.
Nice.
But yeah, that's what I said. I had no issue with it. Zero.
Yeah, but there was a lot of people that got offended. People still bring it up.
I know, and that's why I said let's just get it out there and move on. It's all good.
And where we are at right now is a better place.
Absolutely. Yeah. No. Listen, I wouldn't want you having any questions in the back of your head like, he knows a lot, but is it real? I get it. I totally get it. All good.
Yeah, I'm very cautious.
Who all these people sound like the recordings the most? Not Keegan. Georgia. That audio is let's be real. It's shitty. To say who it sounds like most, it's so horrible of a sample.
Let's take a listen.
Yeah, good.
Let's play some of that audio.
And did you? Oh, but by the way, now that we're talking about the audio, did you see it? I don't remember what this new channel. I don't think it's brand new. It's been up for a while, but he's found supposedly embedded audio in there. This is like in the last few days.
Yeah. Where
there's a girl talking. I'm not that tech stuff. I don't really understand, and I don't understand how long is the clip total? What is it when you look at it right now?
Well, this one is an edited clip, but it's probably here. Let me time it. Let's see. 4 seconds.
So my question is, how in 4 seconds could you have? He's finding a female yelling and screaming, saying, "Don't touch me."
Well, that doesn't. This is what they're hearing. Watch. I made a video about it. It's like a weird anomaly. I don't know exactly what it is, but here, I'll play it for you. Hopefully I still
I just found it so strange at how.
Oh, here it is.
Because I'm like, this clip is under 5-6 seconds tops. There's no way there's a conversation there that's not there. I mean, yeah, we know it's cut, but you can't get what's been cut.
Yeah.
Here, I'm not buying it. Here, let's watch
look if I could see it.
And then, so as you're pulling that up, I listened to the original audio that has the leaf crunching in it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I finally listened to it today. I guess I'm like, it sounds pretty much the same, but it is a little different. I hate to say, because I made a video saying that it doesn't sound like Keegan Kline, but when I listen to that leaf, and I don't think it is him. I don't think he is Bridge Guy for other reasons too. But when I heard him, like, dang, it does sound a little more like.
Well, let's
him,
play this. I break it down. Let's let the audience kind of understand a little bit. They like it. I like to play this, sir.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, that's what they're talking about.
Yeah. What do you feel that anomaly is?
I don't know. I mean, it sounds like you can kind of hear like a voice, but really, it's hard to tell for certain.
It's interesting to me. It is. It's just interesting, and I don't know anything about that kind of tech stuff and how you could pull stuff from that. That's just something I never had anything to do with.
Well, the only difference between what I did is that I cut out the middleman. I downloaded it directly from the website, the government website, and I just put it directly into Cubase. I didn't do anything. I didn't compress it. I didn't do anything. And when I brought it directly into Cubase, his voice had all this bass in it. Dude, he sounded like a completely different person.
Yeah, it is interesting because the one we hear, like even the tone of the voice sounds like it's drowned out. You know what I mean?
Well, it's regurgitated. You got to think if they issue this audio file, they're going to record it. They're going to pass it through an email. They're going to do this, and it's going to be crap by the time they actually air it.
Oh, very true. Sleuth, they didn't hear the chat saying they didn't hear the sound. They weren't able to hear it.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I'll redo it. It's a short. It's like
you heard it though, right? I mean, it's a little faint, but I still heard it.
No, I have the audio off because I
heard it faint. Okay,
you heard it. You heard it faint too, right?
Yeah, faint.
No, it's us. We can hear it on our end. We can hear it.
I got you.
They can't hear it. So let me replay it. I'm
we're
sorry,
special.
Guys. It's because I didn't add the audio. Hold on. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. Here, I'll fast forward here. So basically, we'll start right here. I kind of explain how it's broken apart.
Yeah, see that piece there. You're seeing something also, right? There is something possibly there.
Mm-hmm. Sounds like a girl's voice.
Do you want me to give you this guy's channel to just look and pull up and just watch it? Because to me, it was a little interesting. It's the Delphi puzzle.
And it could just, that's why I call it an anomaly. It could just be the crunching of the leaves, and who knows, really.
Well, if the grammar's correct on the FBI website, they use an ellipses. So it's guys, ellipses, right? ... down the hill. If it was just a sentence, it would say guys, comma, down the hill. But what the ellipses means is that there's other text in there. That's why grammatically correct you would.
That's a good poll, man. That's actually right. You're right. That's a good poll.
All right, my master's degree finally paid off. So I'm still paying on that son of a, but yeah. So yeah, it would have been guys, comma, down the hill, but it's guys, ... And Doug Carter was weird about it when they asked him in the last interview about is guys first or last, and he's like just like avoided the question.
Yeah, I don't know why that was such a big deal, not just to answer that. What does that matter? It's one word. Was it at the end or was it in the beginning?
Would it be out of the question to think that is it possible that Tobe doesn't know? Is that possible?
No, Carter wouldn't answer that. Carter snapped I don't know if you saw the interview. Carter snapped at the guy interviewing from News Nation.
I mean, but they wouldn't hold information. They wouldn't hold information from them, right? I mean, that's not possible.
What do you mean? From Tobe?
Yeah, they know everything about what's going on.
Oh, they know everything. Yeah, no, they both know everything. Carter snapped at the news guy because he said, "I told you this interview is about the family and 5 years. I'm not giving you any evidence." But he really snapped at the guy.
Mm-hmm.
It was interesting. It really was.
Yeah, because he asked, could it be down the hill, and then could guys possibly be after? And I was going to make it today. I didn't have time, but like, how would that sound? How would that change the conversation if we put guys after down the hill? So down the hill, like if we edit it real quick, down the hill, guys, right? Then it seemed like even more annoyed. I don't know. Maybe it wouldn't change anything, but
it could change it because it could be like guys, like, and then maybe a weapon is shown or whatnot. Like, that's what I said. You know what I mean? Without having to say any more words.
Yeah, the guys almost seems like when he's walking up to them, like he's kind of calling to them, like, "Hey guys, like I got something I got to say to you."
So you have that message at the bottom there pinned for a reason. Is that Harmon?
Yeah, that's Crazy Sean.
Yeah, he's AKA John Tucker, the Private Eye in Entertainment. Is he a DJ now?
Apparently.
Wow. What's up, Sean?
Time.
I think that's the wrong kind of eye, man. I think the eye is for investigator. But
no, I know that. No, it is for investigator.
No.
I know what he means.
No, absolutely. I'm trying to help him out.
I'm
trying to help him out. Yeah.
No, but I think he might be knocking Greeno there because they have like an issue, the two of them. I think like Sean Harmon thinks that Greeno was out to get him or something. So I think that's why the private eye part is there.
Sean has an issue with everybody.
I know he does. Well, I know. If you don't believe him, he's got an issue with everybody.
Even me, I told him I didn't disbelieve him, brought him on the show, and then right after he was talking stuff.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, interesting guy. Someone mentioned the accent from the guys, and did you see? I sent an email to this guy. He does YouTube, and he talks about, I don't know, he's a professional dialect coach. And he's got like 14 million views. So I sent him the audio. I forget his name. I could pull it up real quick. Eric something. But he responded like within minutes. And I just said, hey, there's a case. These two girls were murdered. Like, could you, from your expertise, could you let us know anything about the audio? Like, does it have an accent? And I said, it's from Delphi, Indiana. And he said it was basically inconclusive. He said there's nothing in there that would make me absolutely think they were from that area, but also nothing in there that absolutely would make me say no, they're not. Yeah, to exclude it. So I'm like, yeah, Eric Singer. Eric Singer. That's right. That's the name. But I do kind of hear hear some. Once I was comparing it, when you put your headphones on and you really compare it to like how Keegan Kline was talking, his accent. I don't think the voice sounded the same, but there was the accent. I'm like, oh, okay, I could see.
My thing is variables. Like there could be a number of variables. He could have been running for a short distance. He could have been out of breath. He could have had his mouth covered. I mean, we just don't know. We don't. Right. I mean, he could sound completely different.
Well, think about when you're trying to talk to somebody with a mask on in a store. Yeah. Your family member doesn't even know what you're saying. You know what I mean? It's like, what did you say? They can't even hear you. So it's kind of like the same thing. If he's walking towards somebody with whatever covering his face, it's going to be a little bit distorted.
Yeah, and even with different microphones. So when I recorded that video of doing the analysis, I used a different microphone on purpose to see if people thought like, oh, Fig sounds different here. Because I did. To me, I sound different from one video to the next. Because, the phone has a microphone, so you'll sound different on different microphones as well. And the acoustics play a part. So,
definitely.
It's like kind of like when you run. I don't know if you guys ever been running, or when you're jogging, you're done jogging, you're kind of talking to your buddies or whatever, your wife, and you're just like, you're kind of out of breath.
You're gassed. You're gassed.
You sound a little different. You know what I mean? You don't sound the same.
Mm-hmm. A little raspier when you're out of breath.
It's just kind of like, hey, I'm kind of talking like this, and I kind of sound a little bit different because there's more air coming out, and then you're also inhaling at some points.
Mm-hmm. I just think it's going to be hard to tell who that person is on the audio until they have them. And then they're able to compare, just a conversation or whatnot, because it's just not big enough of a sample. It's just not.
No, and that's what the experts say. So it's going to be inconclusive. So it's kind of a waste of time for me to dwell on it when they're like, nah, it's inconclusive. Like, all right, got to take that and then move on.
Yep, nothing else we can do.
I saw a picture. Somebody put up one of the bridge pictures, one of the frames, and they're like, I could see a face here, and I'm like, it looks like a Lego character. It was like probably the worst frame. I didn't know if the person was joking,
like,
but
boxy.
It was just
really.
It was really no. It looked. It had like that the way the Lego shape is, that weird shape. It was the worst frame I've ever seen. And they're like, oh, I could see it. I'm like, I just don't know what some people are doing. I really don't. I don't know. Maybe some people are just bored and they're just, trying to pass time. I don't know.
Yeah, and sometimes you see things that you want to see as well because for whatever reason, like I want it to be this, so I'm seeing this or hearing this.
I think for this, for a lot of everybody, everybody's frustrated. They wanted more out of the whole Keegan thing, but it's only been 2 months. It's only been 2 months. Plus, you see all these guys getting locked up all over the area for images or whatnot. That most likely came from Keegan. That's why I said this is Pandora's box. What's going to come from this?
You're thinking conspiracy?
No, I'm just thinking that, listen, there's child predators everywhere. I'm not talking about people involved with the Delphi itself. I'm just talking about with child porn and stuff. It's just gonna be a revolving door of how many people they lock up. Yeah, they just got that volunteer fireman. I'm sure they're gonna a politician will end up getting nailed too, but that won't make the paper. They'll hide that one. That's what happens sometimes. They hide stuff. It's terrible.
Yeah, why do they do that shit?
Politics. You know why.
I mean, I know why, but why?
I'll tell you a very quick story. Okay, I'll tell you a very quick story. We had a male doing prostitution. Okay, and it was just at like an offensive level where it was very well known. So one of the guys had to actually make phone contact with him, and he had to try and get like set up and whatnot. It was very wild. It ended up being an investigation. It took like 6 months to finally get this guy to meet one of the officers. And was a big case, and a lot of money, a lot of overtime got spent on it and whatnot, doing surveillance and everything else. You know, the whole thing happens. He gets arrested, and they had media lined up and blah, 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 because they ended up having drug arrests involved in it. Nothing happened because of who this person's father was. It basically, like, yes, he got charged, but everything that, you know, should have happened didn't. And that's the sad part of law enforcement, you know.
The nepotism.
Yeah, it's just like, you know, it's favoritism. It's twisted, you know. It's like treat everybody the same. Just treat everybody the same, and you know, things will be fine.
Well, to be honest, man, like, I hate to say this, but part of me, I don't feel bad about that. I'm not in that position, but if I was, I would hope that somebody would reach out and use their power to help me.
Oh no, listen, there's nothing wrong with helping. Like, listen, you know, you're doing this, you know, cut it out.
I know that's horrible. Like, I'm just
this
being
was
honest.
Blatant. This was bad. What was going on? I'll be right back. My little guy's crying. I'll be right back.
Oh, okay. Yeah, don't hold that against me.
So, like, I see that picture. What's like your first thought? Like, what do you first see? I'm like, dude's wearing a mask.
I don't think he's wearing a mask.
Like, I don't think it's, but in that, when I'm just like trying to, all right, close my eyes, open it, and just like, what do I see? Because I've stared at it so long, you know, it's almost like I'm trying to reset it. But
what you're seeing, do you see right here? What you're seeing is when he's walking, he's looking left to right. So what you're seeing is all of that blended right here, left to right, left to right as he's walking. Not only is he shimmying left to right, but Libby is over here with her camera going like this. It's probably moving like this, talking to Abby like, hey, there's that thing, you know, I'm film, you know, it's kind of doing these little movements, and then he's going like this, left to right, left. So you think this is his nose? Who knows what this is? This could be his freaking ear, because if you look right here, you got the brim of his hat going this way, and then everybody thinks there's like a camera here. What I realize that is, it's kind of like the curve of the hat where it blends twice. So while it's going this way, the right side of the hat ends here, and then when it comes back this way, the left side of the hat curves here. So you're catching it twice right in the middle, left to right, left, because he's walking left to right, left to right. But the one thing that scares me about Julian is he wears this pin, right? It's a military pin, and I keep seeing this right here. That really concerns me. It's a yellow button with something inside. Who knows? It's just too crazy of an image to really know.
Yeah, that's. And then how many frames are there in each? It's just crazy that different frames look like different things.
But this is what you got to do. You got to take puzzle pieces. You see this little area right here? That's not bad.
Yeah, that's something there. The yellow.
And you kind of see everything blending. You can kind of see how he's looking to his right. You see his mouth right here? And then he turns quickly this way, and it's like all blended together. But he's actually looking in this direction, and then this direction at the same time. But the darkness is what kind of captures it. Doesn't have too much light to oversaturate it, so it's able to capture just a little bit of like the shape of his face. It's crazy.
It is.
Let's see if I got some more here. These are the ones I just did recently. They're not like the best.
I am back.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome back.
Yeah, my little guy's stirring around, but he's all right for now. What was the? Do you have that picture? Was there a picture you put up about
I got another one
that
here.
JP wore?
Yeah, it's a pin, but I'm gonna add this one up here right now. Just let everybody take a look at it. Kind of, his shoes are kind of sticking out on this one. They're not so booty.
Jeez. So it's where you see different things every time. Like for the first time, the little white thing under his neck, it looks like goggles to me.
A lot of people think it looks like goggles.
I never thought it looked like goggles before, but in this, I'm like almost goggles, like science you'd wear in a lab.
Yes, I see the outline that you're talking about.
Yeah,
but that outline will change.
Yeah, to like a question mark.
Oh no, yeah, it's just a reflection.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's see here.
Yeah, people think it's a camera, and like, yeah, there's sometimes it looks like it's definitely a camera. It looks like a scarecrow. Yeah,
scarecrow. Yeah, I think I took a couple nice ones recently.
So
find them.
Yes, yeah. Someone mentioned about the jacket loaded up, and then about the 20-pound weight drop. Yeah, that's it's still intriguing. I still don't know why the FBI updated it, and then now it just removed on the Indiana State Police. There's no mention of height or weight.
It's interesting that they did go down to the 200-pound weight.
Yeah, have you in your experience, CD, like seen that happen? Like, why would you need to update it? Because I thought it would be the weight at the time of the crime. They can't keep, like, if they knew that much about that person, they wouldn't keep updating the, well, now they're, they weigh this much, and oh yeah, we saw they overate, they had extra dessert tonight, so we're gonna add a pound to it. Like, they're not following it around, the person around.
It's really hard to say. It could be that they're narrowing down to people. Like maybe, I don't know why, but maybe they have something where they feel it's somebody smaller, Because I think they said the top height is what, 5'10", 5'6" to 5'10", right? Wasn't that what the height was?
Yes.
If somebody's 5'6" and 220 pounds, that's a pretty big guy for that height. Right. You know what I mean? Body wise.
Yeah. Pretty round, but I see
pretty round.
Yeah. There's stuff in there. It looks like he's packing some stuff. He has some stuff in his jacket.
I mean, that what is more than likely is wearing extra layers to disguise himself. I mean, some say, oh, it was cold in the morning, so he was dressed for the cold in the morning. As I said from the beginning, even before the Anthony Shots thing, I said this is more than likely a catfish, or a stalking from afar, following them there, and then getting out and taking his time to get to them. But this random trucker, it just doesn't. To me, it doesn't fit.
Yeah, everyone thinks serial killers are truckers because they have easy access to the road. But yeah, I don't know how many serial killers I've heard of that are actually truckers. I don't know.
You have these trucker serial killers that are killing like the prostitutes at the truck stops. That was like in the 80s.
Yeah, Gary Ridgway, but he wasn't. I don't think he was a truck driver, but
no, but he was using the truck stops.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
I mean that's just because. And at the end of the day, think about somebody who's doing that, right? Okay, they're doing this at different truck stops. They're considered a serial killer, but they're scared individuals. They're picking on a woman who is prostitute, no family. Maybe nobody's gonna be looking for them. So this could go months before that body's found. You know what I mean? So it's like they're getting off on their murder, but they're not. They have nothing to sweat in a sense. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I think I want to look up how many murders in the Delphi area, because I hear conflicting things from law enforcement. Yeah.
No, I'll tell you what it is. I'll tell you. In the last 30 years in Delphi, there have been 3 murders.
Oh my!
Two of them being this case. That's not Carroll County. That's Delphi.
Right.
Carroll County, I don't know, but I know fact it is 3 murders. There was 1 prior in Delphi in the last 30 years.
Because you hear, oh, it looks like this person has done this before, and then also he's local, so that maybe that's why people think it's someone traveling, or it's someone who lived in Delphi and then moved away when they were a young man, and then I don't know, traveling around now.
Well, I'll tell you, they did pick up early on. I think it's the remember, if you could find it somewhere online, and I think it was the 27th or 28th of February 2017, where ISP came out and said we didn't make an arrest even on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
And that was because of Jimmy Duvall. I don't know if you guys know who Jimmy Duvall is. Jimmy Duvall.
Yep. I did. Yeah, I covered him.
No, you did. Okay, 1989. He impersonated a police officer. Got an 11-year-old female in his car, and he cut her up pretty good. Thank God she got away, and he got. I think he got 20 years and did 10. But he's out, and he got picked up at Chrysler, which is interesting to me because that's where Keegan's father works. And Jimmy Duvall worked at Chrysler. Now I don't know where he works, but that's where he was when the murders happened.
Mindy asked.
So that was the rumor that, like, oh, they locked up Jimmy Duvall, but they picked him up at Chrysler and brought him in to interview him.
Let's hit the chat real quick. Mindy, she asked, I wonder about a hunter. He knows that location well. I often thought maybe a fisherman coming from the Wilson Bridge area.
Yeah, that creek is fished like heavily.
Yeah, Abby used to fish in that creek.
I mean, a random hunter wouldn't have access to the property. It's all pretty much private property. If you had access from the owners, that's different.
No, there's nothing private about that creek. I think there's about
No, not the creek. I'm talking about the deer hunting, like the properties.
Oh yeah,
yeah. The creek you could, that's a public creek. You could fish it.
Yeah, I think with a little bit of permission, if I'm sure, like Garrett, he was talking about always asking to go hunting.
Oh yeah, because of his dad. The relationship with Ron.
Yeah, but I'm sure he did hunt back then.
I'm sure he did. Him and his wacko friends.
You guys see this image here in the right hand or his left hand?
Yeah, that's interesting.
He's clutching something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the first time I think I've seen him clutching something like that.
Yeah, I captured that.
Wow.
Earlier this week.
That's a pretty good find, man.
I don't know what's here. I don't know. Maybe he's got a hold of his belt. Or what if he has a longer weapon that comes across this whole belt line?
So someone brought something up when I made the video. I talked about the HNL special when I talked about the edged weapon, and someone said, "Oh, because they were going around asking different hardware stores if anyone's bought a certain type of weapon," and someone said possibly a machete could be that. An edge weapon that you could go and find at a hardware store where it's just something a little,
and it would chop you pretty good because they said it wasn't like a full
machete.
It wasn't like a full blown. What did David Erskine? What was the text? Almost decapitated or something.
Yeah.
So that seems like a machete.
Yeah, machete. Yes. Smaller hatchet, like one of those little tomahawks, something like that. But yeah, machete does severe damage. Severe.
Do you see a hatchet on this guy? Could that be a hatchet pouch there?
How many did you look at all the how many images do you see him holding something like that? Because when you zoom in, I mean, listen, it could be just be an anomaly. Could it be a stun gun?
You kind of see even his belt loop here.
The stun gun's interesting because a lot of people say no one heard any screams, so a stun gun might.
It has the size to me. It has the size, you know.
What if it's a cell phone?
Oh, it could be.
Or like a maybe.
Listen, it could be a small police scanner to hear if anybody's in the area. You know.
Maybe, and
could
I always
so many
thought
things.
For the longest time, I thought, here, let me play a video for you guys. This one I can actually load and get rid of the screen. See what you think. It looks like he has a pistol in his hand, but the more I look at it, it almost looks like a cell phone.
Yeah, it kind of looks like he's recording them. I see the cell phone thing, like holding it.
Can you kind of see it there?
Yeah, like landscape, like he's holding a landscape.
Okay.
Why can't I see anything? Oh, now I can see it.
Okay. Let's see what we got on this one. See, it almost looks like he's clutching a gun there. I can kind of see his fingers move a little bit. Right there. He's kind of got it in his hand, and then you'll see his fingers kind of go up and down right there. His index kind of pops out a little bit. So I don't know. What if he's just kind of holding a cell phone and he keeps kind of looking down at it?
Yeah, trying to be like, so he gets up as close as he can without,
But I mean, this one, it really does look like he has a gun in his hand, and he's got it pressed against his crotch area, and he's
holding it tight.
Yeah, and he's walking right towards him. I have this in a slower version. Let's take a look at that.
And what's interesting, I mean, it shows his hand. I don't think I've ever seen his full hand color. I mean, so he's not wearing gloves.
I never saw the left hand before, like in that other image.
Yeah, that's why he's not wearing gloves now. I didn't know if he was wearing gloves or not, but
those could be gloves. That could be gloves.
It could be. Yeah, it really could be. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it could be.
There's a lot of blur, and what I did on that image is I just sharpened everything. So this could be blur that's just been kind of sharpened. So you kind of, who really knows? That could be
but it is that left hand is definitely holding something. It could be anything, but he's holding something.
And his right hand in the image that I was showing earlier looks like a glove. Let me see if I can pause it. Well, anyway, you guys get the idea.
Can you put that image back up one more time of the left hand? I want to see. Was there an insignia? Can we see an insignia on the jacket by his chest? On the one that we saw something in his hand, the still image.
I haven't seen one.
Do you see that? Go up by his chest, upper. We can't make out what it is, but do you see they're
here?
Like right there? Yeah.
And then here, I kind of picked up something in a pocket, almost like glasses. You see him kind of coming this way?
Yeah.
Or a clip, maybe a pen that he has in a pocket here.
Some of those windbreakers have the pocket that goes inwards too, like right at the zipper. It's a zipper pocket that goes in towards the chest sideways.
And it almost appears like there's some type of strap coming across this way.
It's like the motorcycle strap I used to wear at work.
Yeah,
one of those leather straps, you mean?
I don't know. It seems like
firemen wear them also.
It almost appears like this may be a bag that's just bleeding into whatever's going on behind it because of how poor the image is. But it almost appears like it's a bag that is strapped here.
He just looks, in this image here, he looks very full. Like there's a lot going on there.
You can kind of see the hat here kind of coming out right here. Fat cheek. Bridge guy definitely has like a chubby little cheek.
What's sad is that technology was behind 5 years ago with the iPhone 6s, you know?
Yeah. Well, they don't cooperate. See, when you back out, you can kind of see like he really does have something in his hand.
Yeah, he does. No, he's grasping something there.
Yeah.
It's like he's holding on tight.
It almost seems to extend even outward to here.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's so hard to say, but stun gun would be something to use, you know, especially on a bridge like this where they got nowhere to go. You know,
that looks like glove. That looks like a glove right here.
Yeah, that does.
See the knuckles?
Yeah.
And if he's moving his hand a lot while she's moving and he's moving, this is all just a blurry glove.
It's like an anomaly, yeah.
Yep.
But that left hand, I mean, even based off his hands, like he doesn't have massive hands either. You know, that left hand.
Like I'm kind of a shorty type of guy, you know, and I can tell like when he's a little bit shorter. He's probably like 5'9", 5'10".
Yeah. I mean, it could also be. I mean, the head scrunched over. Maybe he's trying to appear a little bit smaller, also.
Well, to me, I think he's looking down. I think he's just trying to kind of walk on the bridge a little bit.
Oh yeah, I mean, Jesus! I mean, when you look at that bridge from a drone, it's horrifying.
Or that's his phone. You kind of see it right here. He might have a phone. He's looking down. He's tracking them. They're like, "That's not the good-looking guy we've been looking for."
I mean, really, when you think, I mean,
that's not him. That's not
when you
him.
think about how the oh shit factor as he closed in on them, it's just horrifying. It really is.
It's like, hey, this creepy guy is just coming closer and closer. Like, what the freak do we do?
Yeah, have we seen a Subaru work jacket? Because maybe I'll go on LinkedIn right now and go on Subaru and see like what people from Subaru wear. LinkedIn,
I did.
Okay.
I have seen one that was identical to this, but I haven't been able to find it on my own. I've been shown.
The only problem is that like he might have that exact jacket that is in this picture, but each year, depending on when you get your jacket, it could be a little bit of a different model. You know what I mean?
And this jacket might not even be blue, to be honest. This could be a black jacket that we're looking at.
Yeah, purple. Yeah.
I'm telling you, color and photo and video, they'll play tricks on you, especially with that direct sunlight hitting directly on that black. Because it's really, black really is never really black when it comes to fabric. It's like usually like a really dark blue.
Yeah, the case is creepy. It's like so.
No, when you think about it, to be able to get the control of two girls, and it's horrifying because you would use one of them to gain control of the other one. It's horrifying what they went through. It really is.
And that's the part I think that people need to remember. That's the most important thing. Nobody should ever have to, there's grown men that suffer that fate.
Of course.
Nobody should have to go through that, especially at that age, let alone a grown person. Imagine, as tough as we think we are, imagine being completely helpless.
Yeah, listen, when you see crime scenes like this, and you just think of, man, how this person was at the wrong place at the wrong time. It's messed up. It really is. And they were so young, life ahead of them, and just taken away for what?
Absolutely.
For some piece of shit to get his jollies off.
AKA Radar just put, imagine if he's texting the girls. Dang. Yeah, if that is a phone and he just was texting them.
Yeah, it looks like a phone to me.
That's a good call.
Of course.
Well, I think we're going to start winding down, guys. We're about 15 minutes till the 2-hour mark. So if you got anything you guys want to address or kind of talk about or bring up, or if you want to keep addressing the chat, I think we'll close it out here right around that 2-hour mark.
Yeah, whatever you want to do. What are they saying in the chat?
Let's take a look here. Bee's Knee says it looks amazingly rectangular considering the rest of the image. She's saying it has some shape to it.
Mm-hmm.
Like a iPhone or a Samsung. Is that what she means?
Yeah, it looks like a phone or a handle of something.
Yeah, let me put it back up.
Dad jeans.
Let's see. Bobby Phoenix says it's a badge. There's something going on there.
I don't believe that's a badge.
What about over here? Like he's clutching it. He's getting ready to show it to him. Lynn says it's a walkie-talkie. That was my first thought. He's carrying a two-way radio here.
Walkie-talkie if there's another person involved. If he's alone, one of those small little police scanners to hear, if anything's in the area.
And CD mentioned that police scanners can be that size, or
Yep.
you can just put it on scan to a certain frequency.
Yep, you can just have it on scan so that anything in the area that's coming through, even a fireman, it'll pick up.
Yep. All right. Let's see. Do you think somebody lured Ron Logan from his property?
Boy. I don't know. I think Ron was wrestling his own demons and had his worst day he had in a while. Went and had a couple of drinks and it really.
He caught that shit storm. Yeah. He caught that evil shit storm that came through there.
Yep.
He's a victim too.
Yeah. I mean, listen, this case probably put him down earlier than he should have left this earth. Me personally, I feel bad for the guy.
Well, I mean, the case was in his cards all along, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know they searched his house once, but when they did it the second time, I was always interested in the second search, and it could have just been nothing, but it's like, maybe it was a tip or something that they heard. I don't think
it also could have been, a discrepancy from something because I know he had a firearm stolen from his house in either 14 or 15. He had a break-in, and he had a break-in in 16 where somebody was like trying to get into his barn.
He had an altercation.
He had quite a few. Yeah, he had an argument with the guy trying to gain access to the barn. So he's had a lot of issues going on there. Yeah, maybe he could have a gun. Yeah, he could. I mean, he could. Somebody said something about Keegan's upcoming stuff. I think Keegan is going to, his lawyer's working on getting more time because they're not going to plea out. So they're going to work on getting another 3 months before his trial. I don't think his trial will be in May. I think it's more likely going to be August.
They'll delay it again.
Yeah, he's got 30 felonies over his head. He's
and he's part of another investigation. Sorry, Vic.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no. I was gonna say, do you think the antics that you're seeing, that he does have some information? He has something because they're trying to negotiate, or the plea deals. Is there anything in kind of what's going on there that you think there might be? Like he has a piece of information, he has something to bargain with?
I believe he knows something, and that's why there's 30 felonies over his head. Yeah, you're charging him multiple times. I mean, yes, he had 1,000 images, but you're not going to get charged 1,000 times. You know what I mean?
Right.
They hammered him. And there's a reason. He's a piece of garbage. They hammered him.
Yep.
But there's a reason that he has 30 felonies. And they probably they went to his attorney and probably said 35 years or 40 years or whatnot, and he was probably like you're charging him with 30 felonies. Let's bring it down to 2, and 5 years or something. There's no in between meeting for a plea deal. There's just not. So yeah, do I feel he knows something? I do. And listen, he said it himself. Law enforcement told him Anthony Schott's profile was the last person to talk to Libby.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and he also lied to HLN that he said he never tried to meet a girl, but the girl on that podcast was a friend who he started messaging and whatnot, and she brought a friend with her to the park, and he flipped out that she had a friend with her. So yeah, he did try and meet somebody else that we know about. So, you know.
And I think two of the charges I read, I know at least one, the obstruction of justice, which seems like it is. I think Sleuth informed me of this, that it's probably because he didn't either turn his phone in or because all the stuff that he deleted off of that iPhone 5.
Well, they left his house without having the 5C phone as his most active phone. And he told them while they were there that his active phone is the 5C. How they didn't get that, I have no idea.
Yeah, he got
unless he said, "Oh, I don't have it right now," because they didn't have a search warrant for the father's car.
He got an obstruction charge for that.
Yeah, but that could be for not turning the phone in or for deleting stuff. There's many reasons you get obstruction.
I think he got a charge for both, actually.
Yeah, I think he got 2 obstructions.
Well, that's probably from not giving the 5C in and then deleting it all.
You're right.
And they have, once they did the forensic, analysis on it, they hit him with the other one. Yeah, I mean, he definitely he knows something. Look at him. I mean, the years aren't doing too well.
No,
he's not. He's a young guy. He's a mess. He's losing his hair. That's stress.
Or law enforcement has nothing, and he just happened to have been attempting to catfish the girls while somebody else murdered them.
I agree. But my question to you is, he would know who he gave access to. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm saying he may not even be related. It may not even be like a catfish type situation on that level. What I mean is, law enforcement, they're going to do their investigation, right? Okay. So they have their video, they have their audio, they have this Anthony Shots, and then they have somebody who mentions a vehicle. And then they also have Brad Heath, who may have been a potential witness of Bridge Guy.
Yeah.
But they have nothing that really ties it all together. So even though they got this Anthony Shots stuff, that's just really their best lead. They can't really tie it to the car. They can't tie it to.
Well, let's say this. Let's say that he's been in jail since August, right? And he's August 2020, and he strung them along. And I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. Finally, they were like, you know what? He's not giving what we want. So the reason that they put that out the way they did is to see who else encountered somebody under Anthony Shots that wasn't Keegan, and that gets you closer. You know what I mean? If this other guy from wherever in Indiana is using it, and no, he tried to meet me and he was a creep and he had a knife, you get a little closer.
Yeah, I mean, it could be tied, but I'm saying there's a very good chance that none of it's tied together, and they're trying to work each lead and hoping that they could tie it all together eventually, but it all could be separate pieces of information that have nothing to do with one or the other.
Well, yeah, I mean, listen, he gave access to say it is from him. He gave the access to the Dropbox, right? Say somebody is smart enough to, work it out, and now they made their own Anthony Shots account on a different social media, and that's who contacted her based off a picture that he shared with them. They saw, she's from here, and they found her that way. We just don't know. There's so many unknowns. Too many unknowns. What's up with his head on the right? What does that mean? Over on the shoulder?
What? Yeah. Well, I'm getting information sent to me that what we're seeing is part of the white lining of the jacket, as well as a face covering. It's a bandana, but it's all pixelated and blended together.
Yeah, it's hard because look at the quality around it. I mean, that just shows you what you got. I know that they actually, the guy that helped with the moon landing pictures. They contacted him a few years back, and he looked at it, and he basically said what everybody else says, is that this is really the best you're going to get with the way this was filmed.
Right. It only has so many pixels in it. You couldn't do so much.
He gave a whole thing on it, but basically it's kind of like, look at the background. You can't even tell there's trees there if you think about this image, And I know that's because Sleuth was playing with it, but it's just there's just only so much detail in there for us to get.
She's kind of digging in his pocket on this one, it seems.
Because
he's setting himself up for to get control.
And the video does make a beeline to the center, like he pivots. So I think to his left, he starts pivoting to his left. So he's heading towards the girl, like right before this. So he's doing something. He's pulling something out because he's about to confront them.
Well, remember the one that I don't know, I guess it was the one ISP added, and it had that bar that kept coming up. This one looks like it's clipped now. Like they condensed, they took part of his near towards his right arm. They took it down more. But they were saying that was it Libby's arm? Well, no, was it Abby's arm that was in the area?
Yeah, it looked like her sweater.
Yeah,
it seemed like. Again, it's another one thing. It's so blurry and hard to tell. Like, yeah, it kind of looks like her sweater, but if someone said it absolutely not, then okay. But it looks like. See, I was just like pivoting. No, he's going towards them.
He's pivoting for He's getting ready to push in. It's terrible. When you think about what happens after that, you know that that's why we're all here. That's why we're here.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
So, here's the original.
Yeah, that bar that keeps popping up.
Yeah, it's covering something.
Yeah, it's covering something, and
or someone.
Someone. I mean, what else would you be trying to cover there?
Yeah, yeah. You don't want the victims in there.
What are you guys referring to? That where they blocked something out?
Yeah, that bar that comes across.
Well, let's take a look. I have every frame here. Let's take a look.
You had the video that doesn't have that bar that comes up. I have it. It's on a like Amazon Prime special that I watched. They have the one where it shows her arm. I just need to screen grab it, or they show the sweater or whatever it is.
Yeah, you can see they're cutting it out. Yeah, there it is. That's the cutout that they're doing.
So let's hold on to that one, and then we'll pull. I think it's this one right here. Yeah, this is every frame here. So let me pull these two up.
Yeah, there's one that they showed that doesn't have that black bar.
It doesn't have it, and you see the color of that sweater she had on.
It's not. Well, that's what this is right here. But that's actually part of him.
No, that black bar is what we're talking about. That's not in it.
I think what you're referring to is this little bit of color here.
No. See that whole black bar that's there? It's like an inch long on that picture. Mm-hmm. That whole thing is not in the frame that we're talking about. Fig saw it. He knows what I'm talking about. It's you basically see the outline of the sweater. It's the same color as Abby's sweater that she was wearing.
Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. When I studied that part, it's actually just shading on the bridge guy's jacket. It's like a play of the eye.
I don't know. I got to try and find it. Yeah. You're saying it was in the video you watched, Faye? You saw it?
So it was either the People one that came out on Amazon, like the Discovery Plus, or it was the like Still a Mystery series. But I saw it and I was on my TV. I paused it. I'm like, whoa, this is the video they put before they added that black bar in there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, that's a huge bar. That's they're not showing what I saw too.
Well, if you look at this image here, it kind of looks like you see the ruffling and the gray color of her hoodie.
Yeah.
This, I'm not sure if that's what you're referring to, but this is actually part of what's going on with him in this
No,
little
that
dark area.
inch black part that you have. It's basically like the outermost part of that frame. That's black. I think they showed it at the press conference and they edited it after.
Yeah,
I'm not sure about all that.
Yeah, there's video where there's no black bar at all. It's just showing that without any black bar at all. That the black bar came later.
So then what's there?
It looks like Abby's arm. That's what I'm trying to say. Because you see that it wasn't kind of a rusty color sweater.
Well, that's the thing. When you look at this one and you kind of look at it like this, I guess, maybe I can do it like this. You kind of look at it like that. See, it kind of looks like her sweater.
I gotta see if Faye can find it because I think he knows what I mean. Because it's like, think of like where that black bar is. It's basically like the outermost part of the bridge, where it's like it's in front of him. It's not. It's like you're able to see like 3 feet in front of him in a sense, and it looks like it's the rust color of that sweater she was wearing, and it looks like they edited it afterwards when they first released it. You see it, Faye? You have it?
I'm looking. I don't have my TV right here. I can pull up my Amazon Prime. It might take me like a minute, but
that's right. Whatever.
No. Okay. Everyone in chat know what we're talking about? ISP frame 1. All right. I'm going to see what I can do right now. Prime Video.
See, Jen has seen it also. She said there was no black bar. You see her arm. Mike says it was talked about by Elliot as Abby's arm because they blew up the pic of BG. Carol says ISP1's original photo. Is that what the file's called? Is that what she means?
Oh, yep. I have it. I'm on my Prime Video, and yep, here it is on the Still a Mystery Season 1, Episode 2. And it has the picture that we want.
Grunge, we don't know which one. I mean, we don't know exactly which one was the main target, but he's going to grab whoever's closer first. You know, you got to get control of 2 people.
You loading that up, Fig, or are you going to send it to me?
I'll send it to you.
Send it in the private chat.
I could show it after I do it. Okay.
You should be able to show it. You should be able to show it on your own.
Oh, I'm going to pause it.
Stephanie said the mom confirmed that it's Abby's jacket. That's interesting. I mean, to me, it's 100%. It is her arm.
I mean, I haven't seen that.
Okay, let me do a screenshot. All right, I'll send it right now. I'm doing a screenshot. Let me do a screenshot.
I always assumed it was her arm until I kind of looked into it further. And then I just don't, from what I see, I don't agree with that anymore. I'm not for sure anyway.
That might change. It might change because it's the same color as the sweater, and to me it looks like an arm.
All right, I'm saving it.
Hey, 12 step.
Here we go. All right, so you're going to put it in our private chat. I could put images in there.
No, you can put the link, or if you want to add images, you just go to share your. I think if you hit the 3, no, you should be able to just share your screen.
Okay, let me do that then. All right, share my screen.
Somebody was arguing about a handgun suppressor.
Yeah.
Arguing about a silencer not being needed.
Let me know when you're ready for me to add that.
Okay, I'm ready to share my screen.
All right, here it is.
I did it. Right? You guys see it? So that's without the black bar coming down.
Yeah, and that's just the one frame. That's not the video moving, but that you could tell that's what we were talking about. And look at how his face is more like straightforward aimed now. Like he's coming in for the grab.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Let me see what frame. I'm looking for what frame that is. So I'm gonna.
I believe. Look at that one that has the black bar.
Yeah,
tell by his body.
Yeah, it's not the same one.
It's not.
But you know which one this is? This is the one right before the black box. And it's cut closer to his right arm.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? Because I think the one with the black bar, you see more of the arm and sweater.
Watch, I'll show mine real quick.
Okay.
You don't have to do. No, you don't have to do anything.
Okay.
Okay. So you leave yours there, and then I'll add mine. Let me zoom in, and you'll see how much closer it is. So you're right.
Yeah, they want. Yeah, there it is. There it is. Look at that. That's it. That's the pic. Because you could tell by his left leg. It looks like he's got like a plastic bag on his leg in that picture because it's horrible on the left leg, the way the sun's reflecting off it or whatnot. But yeah.
Let me zoom in just a little bit to kind of match what's going on with his. There we go. So there's mine. Right off. This is right off the Indiana government website.
Yep.
And this apparently is from where? A presentation.
I think this was taken from the press conference when they released the first video of it.
Oh, this is like a screen grab.
Yeah.
So it's circulated. I did a screen grab from a TV series that I think it came out in 2019 called Still a Mystery is the name of the series.
Yeah, it shows you that they wanted to, correct that, showing that.
Yeah.
Because there's another one where that black bar is, you actually see that color, the photo that we all know of Abby on the bridge, that rusty.
What if that's somebody else coming around from behind?
The problem, the issue with that is the color of the sweater, but also if there is another suspect, you'd want people to know there's two people. You know what I mean? Why? If they had a video of the even the other person's arm, where it's not, that's not one of the girls, that's another person. You would want to give that out. But yeah, it's just it's they made some mistakes because they went and corrected that.
That's it right there. I think I saw this on somebody made a video about this recently. Who was that? Rod Holt.
Rod Holt. It could be.
And I think he did something where he included this in there. If I'm not mistaken. That's a good find, man. Where was this at? Where'd you find it?
At the presser, when you watch the video, you see this. If you watch the presser when he says to play the clip. This is the first time we ever saw this.
Yeah, and what's crazy, if you try to Google it, you can't get that image. You can't
get it. You can't get it.
I tried. You gotta yank it right off of there, huh?
Yeah, that's what I pulled up my Prime account. I got on there, played it, did a screen grab, and that's the only way to get it.
Carol said ISP original poster had 3 still photos, and I guess you see her arm more in one of those photos. That's interesting.
Oh, we got to get that.
We do. It's just, I mean, you know what it is, like when people watch that video, they're like, "Oh, let's look at the guy," but they forget what happens right after that video. I mean, everybody's here for the same reason of the murders, but that's him closing in. That's how real that is.
Yeah, that's the abduction starting right there. That's the beginning of the abduction.
His head's down. He's walking. That bridge. I mean, I gotta be honest. I don't know if I had to cross that to save somebody, I'll do it instantly. But I don't think I could just go there. Let me go walk across. I don't think I could do it.
I would.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I got a heights thing. I always did.
No, never.
And I've been on some. And let me do this. I've been on some sick roofs as a city cop. But that's just you got your uniform on. You're just in a different mind frame. But that bridge it's a little freaky, man. When that video where Greeno climbs down. I mean, I'm like, is this guy okay? Like, what I'm talking about, where he climbs down and he's basically standing on the bar. Like my question is, how do you know that bar is going to hold you? The bridge is 100 years old.
That's probably where him being bridge guy, that theory started.
Oh, of course. Yeah, Green. He was hanging out there like Spider-Man. Like, I mean, really, though, some of the theories are just so out there.
It's ridiculous.
It is, but it's just I'll tell you in private, Sleuth, of a YouTube channel. I had a blast this week because of a theory. I know, Sleuth, I really didn't hold back, and I'll send you it because you got to read it. But I'm sure people in the chat, so you can't listen. There's people who put out stuff, and then there's people who put out stuff that just don't make sense. And to say that the video that Libby took, you're taking something to say that she didn't do it, and that it was a planted video by law enforcement.
The conspiracy. I love that conspiracy. It's the most ridiculous thing
that incensed me. Like, I'm like, you're taking away something. This girl did something very brave.
Have you heard the entirety of that conspiracy theory that they were never even there that day?
Why do you think I blasted this guy?
Oh,
I lambasted him. Okay, and then Gray Hughes lambasted him. And that part got deleted because there was some crazy. They were, I get somebody was calling the content guy out for stuff, and I'm like, listen, that's not my place. I don't care what he says he does or whatnot. Just don't take that away from this girl. She did something very brave, and this deep. He brought up News Nation, the news station. That News Nation did a segment on deep fakes because of the Delphi video. If he watches that news station, they've had a friend of what the hell is her name? Banfield. That she used to work for the guy America's Most Wanted. She used to work for him. She has her nightly news station. She had her friend on who got scammed for like $13,000. And the whole deep fake was about the girl being sent a driver's license, and she believed the guy she was sending money to. It had nothing to do with Delphi, but this guy included that in his video. So I lost it, dude. I just didn't hold back. I just dropped it because it just incenses you. It does. It's like these are real girls' lives that were lost. Like, get rid of the conspiracy theories. They don't belong here.
Well, CD, because of time, we'll go to Fig, and then we'll give CD the final word. What's your final word, Fig, for the night?
There's I don't know. I enjoy chat. I enjoy talking to you guys and just bouncing ideas off of each other because, like CD said, we're all here for the same reason. And it's just like, what can we do now? Like, what can we do next? What's the next step? How could we be helpful? That's what's always on my brain. So I'm always open for ideas on, if we collaborated and did something that would help the case, that would help something. So that's all. If anyone ever has any ideas on things we could do to help, I'm always interested in hearing that.
I agree with that.
I like it. Fig, it was really great meeting you tonight, man. We got to do this again. I enjoyed the convo.
Agreed. Me too. It's really nice meeting you.
All right.
And so they want to make a comment because I've got
lay it on us, man. Final word.
My avatar there. I want to make something known. That avatar of mine, right?
I love your avatar.
But let me explain something. That tan Crown Victoria was my police car. That's why it's there.
I like it. Yeah, I like that.
I had a tan Crown Vic that was limo tinted, so it looked like a taxi cab until the lights came on. No, I'm not kidding. One time,
who was talking? Who was saying something about it?
Oh, I've gotten my chops broken about that by a few people, and once they heard why is it tan, and once they understood that was my police car, then they understood like, oh, I get it. I had to go jumpstart one of my bosses, one of my lieutenant's daughter's car at the mall. Okay, in that car. Sleuth, I'm about to get out of my car to help the girl. Some woman opens the door and sits down in the back of my car. I turn around and go, "Get out of my car." She's like, "You can't refuse giving me a ride." I go, "I'm not a cab." She goes, "Oh my God."
I would have pulled out my watch and like clicked on the stopwatch and been like,
I
okay, lady, it's $2.
Attempted robbery.
$2 every 20 minutes.
Oh, when it was pouring out. I mean, we were in an underground garage, but it was pouring out. So I had a bright yellow police raincoat on. What the? She was startled when she paid attention. But yeah, she thought I was stopping for her to get in my car. I was getting out to help the girl jumpstart.
Oh, that reminds me, CD. I was going to ask you a question.
Shoot.
Have you ever done any undercover work?
Yes.
I had some police officers reach out to me. One is a retired police officer, and one is a undercover officer, and they were asking me if I'd be interested in maybe covering that.
I'm down to do it with them. I know what he's talking about. I did not do what he's going to talk about. He's probably going to talk about being undercover, doing like I did narcotics undercover, but not where you're living.
Vice.
Yeah, I did Vice stuff, but this is where he might be one of those guys that was living it for months, where they're your ghost. That's what it's called. That watches you. They'll put a sandwich in the garbage, and you'll be eating out of the garbage. It's really wild. It's stories that you want to hear. I'm telling you, it's.
So I'm going to be looking into that as a possibility, maybe mid-year.
Yeah, whatever. That's cool. I think that would be good. It would be a good segment. It really would. It would be interesting. Did he say where he worked? Is he a retired city guy?
No, I haven't given him too much attention on it. I told him that I liked his pitch and I liked where he was going, and thought it was a great idea.
I'm interested. I like it. Let me tell you something. Okay, I did stuff where I went undercover in Vegas for a case, but that was more of like we were following the guy, but we had to play a game at the same time. But I didn't do undercover where I was somebody else, and it takes I would be something I would be willing to do, but that's something that it takes a certain person to be able to do that. It really does. So I'm interested. I really like it.
Yeah, because it seems something you got to do long term.
Oh yeah, no, it is. I mean, listen, think of Donnie Brasco. I mean, that real story. I mean, that guy, he went so deep that he actually started loving that lifestyle over the FBI. So I'm definitely interested.
All right, I'll keep you guys posted. Thank you, Fig. Dude. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you,
CD. Thank you.
No, man, dude, thank you. It was a great night.
Yeah. All right, appreciate you guys. Take it easy. We'll talk soon.
We'll do it again.
Right. Thanks for joining me, guys.
Absolutely, anytime.
All right. Thanks.
Talk soon, buddy.
All right, you take care.
Chat. Good night, everybody.